What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. The book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled The Streets Became a Generational Curse. I was going to make other videos. Just happened to get on. Cynthia G's on with Mary Brown. When they was talking about this mother on Ayanna Van Zant. And a lady with the 6 kids by 5 guys. And she said it started, she was 12 and, she had sex with a group of guys or got raped by a group of guys who were 14 to 20. Now, in my mind, I'm not going to front. That reminded me of the girls that used to get initiated in gangs. Kind of when we was on that back a couple years ago, they had the Herschelwood bus down that they had on YouTube. You remember that? That type of thing, right? So this sparked this video by saying, a lot of us don't talk about, families' generational curses, but the streets became one. Because people want to romanticize the streets. They want to romanticize the underworld. But they don't want to be completely honest. See, there were people who were in the streets who were the caregivers of a lot of kids, their parents, step parents, extended family. And the thing about it was, they passed down that street stuff to them kids. They exposed them kids to things that you shouldn't be exposing children to. So, part of this era, maybe the last 3-4 generations of people, when they say, babies are having babies, some of these babies were babies by people who were in the underworld who were having babies. But we're going to talk about that. When I used to hear people, we looked up to the drug dealers and the pimps because they had all the cars and the money and the clothes. You was a lying motherfucker. You a liar. When people say that shit, I know you're a fucking liar. Because if you were really looking up to these guys, you'll see them when they come back and they strung out. You hear the stories about them getting life. You'd have known the reign is very much so short-lived. You would have, they got their heads blown off. You forget about that part? You forget about the guys who were in that life that told you when you was going to school, take your ass to school. You don't want to do this shit. This ain't fucking cool. You forget about those guys. Cause see, I'm old enough to remember that. Now I know it changed. This is what I mean by generational. The streets became a generational curse. Cause when these guys talk about, these my youngins, these my young bulls. You know what those usually are? Old gangsters who are fucking failures. They're failures in fucking life. And all they got is the gang. So what they trying to do is influence young kids to do shit that they old dumbass can't do no more because they going to get caught. Because they got a rap sheet a mile long. Everybody know they face. And there's hoods they can't go into because they going to wind up fucking dead. But it pushed this street mentality. People back in the day who were really moving and shaking, flying from different states, dropping off packages and whatnot. Setting up new avenues in different cities and states, bringing their culture with them. Forgetting one thing. You did it to get out of the hood, right? To get your family out of the hood, right? but you didn't want your kids being like you, right? Yet the other thing about this thing that people don't talk about was the greed. See, you motherfuckers couldn't get out. That was a lot of people's problem. You couldn't. The money was just too good, and the hood fame was just too good. You just can't get out. You feel powerful. You like the game, the thrill of the chase. Or, I'm doing some illegal shit. Am I ever gonna get caught? I gotta be on my toes. But see, some of y'all can't handle that pressure. A lot of y'all ain't built for that. A lot of y'all not built for that, and that's where a lot of people got locked up and mentally broken, because you got to look at it. People want to use the music as a reference. You notice how the music gravitated from being weed smokers to drug dealers to now drug addicts. That's generational. That's generational. And it's really, secular, like a cycle. Because remember, the hippie generation was the generation of drug addicts. Before them, what was it? Dabbler, drug dealer, pimp, slash, because the jazz era was a mix of, when jazz first started, it was a mix of drug use and bootlegging, if I ain't mistaken, which was drug selling. And this, the 60s was the culmination of that. And thus, heroin, and then the crack epidemic. To be a seller, they got to be users, right? And you don't want to say you brought your kids into this. People don't want to say part of the harshness that we have for people in general and amongst each other comes from how harsh you had to be with particular type of people in the neighborhood who were in the streets. Part of the male-female dynamic, the reason why it's so harsh is because it became a street relationship. Tricking and hoeing. The streets became the generational curse. That's the issue that America is going through right now. You brought the underworld to the family. So when these kids are getting worse, what's wrong with these kids? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with these kids. Your generation thought street shit was cute, that your parents was doing, so you started doing it. And you started doing it around kids. Just like they was doing it around you. They was doing it around me, I know. I knew what cocaine was before I knew all my numbers in Sesame Street. I'm just going to be honest with you. And the problem I say is generational because the frustration you're seeing right now is people around my age looking at people, my parents or would be grandparents' age or supposed age of grandparents. Like when we had grandparents, that's around the same age. Are sitting here. I don't know what happened. I was doing the best I could. I don't understand. I didn't see nothing that was going on. You was a lying motherfucker. You a lying motherfucker, man. You know how I know this? It is 2018. 20 years ago, think of all the shit that wasn't getting filmed. When was Freaknik? Huh? Think, Luke, you know, the late 80s, early 90s drug era, the murder that was going down. While people, what about Chicago? Bitch, I grew up on the west side in the 90s. It was way worse. Crime rates have been going down since the 90s. And I grew up in New Orleans. And what did they say 20 years ago? The murder capital. Lived in the DMV. Around that time, the shit was going down. They was killing and boosting out that motherfucker. But you brought your kids up in that because it was fun. And now your kids became parents. And now it's passed down. And now you got the group of people who got away from that bullshit, but the streets still in them. And you got the group of people who don't want to leave the streets, but they old and their life fucked up, and they want people to help them. And that shit ain't gonna happen. Because what's happening is you're seeing a split because families have realized, the streets have taken down generations because generations of families have passed that. You just saw the video of the little kid that they was giving weed, the little 3 kids that they was giving weed to. That ain't the first time that's happened. Oh, no. I'm pretty sure, them dumb motherfuckers probably know somebody who that happened to when they was a kid. Or it could have happened to them. I'm just being honest with the weed thing. Not with the other drugs, not with the harder drugs, but with the weed, oh yeah. Cause see, y'all forget, y'all don't run that shit back. You remember when you was kids and they was giving y'all beer and liquor when you was kids? And they thought the shit was cute. Remember that? And they let you puff on cigarettes. They thought the shit was cute. Remember that? Let you play with guns. Thought that shit was cute. Remember that? Oh, okay. Where was that at? Motherfucker, you know where that was at. And that culture created parents who decided this is how I grew up, so why can't you grow up like that? See, we talk about people like Richard Pryor. Y'all forget where Richard Pryor was born? Y'all forget where he was raised? He was raised in a whorehouse. When you look back into some of the peoples in the 60s past, do you listen to where they came from? Where did James Brown come from? How did he grow up? Did you not hear that? When you listen to all of the rappers from the 90s and to the 2000s, did you not hear where the fuck they came from? I mean, some of the motherfuckers was lying. Some of them motherfuckers was lying. You can tell it ain't that hard to tell. But that was the culture. They came up in that culture. They had family members and friends of the families that was in that culture, teaching that culture. There was a split back in the day where, if you were doing criminal activity, you couldn't go in certain houses. You weren't welcome. Nobody was gonna be accepting your money. Did nobody want your blood money or drug money because they didn't want to eat like that. But see, there was another culture that did. And that influenced generations come after. You see the girl, Black China, you see how motherfucking around all on social media? She ain't the only one like that. Y'all acting like y'all brand new. Oh, these kids, killers and savages. Oh, so you act like you don't know nobody that was around that age was shooting people? That's what you saying? That's what you saying? I know that's not what you're saying. Shit, I know motherfuckers shooting motherfuckers to this day. Been shooting motherfuckers. I don't even know how they fucking alive right now. You don't know. You don't. This scam artist mentality of get the bag. You mean to tell me you don't realize that this get the bag mentality been going on at least 25, 30 years, and I'm 38, so fuck. Come on now. The streets became a generational curse. And everybody don't want to be in the streets, don't want to leave the streets, but your ass don't want to get killed. Don't work like that. You don't want to get time. Don't work like that. So I'm gonna be done with this one. We out, yo.